We've not done a video about this yet, the full shebang today. Your house is going to be a little bit cozier after this. Perfect. It's like being a kid again, you know, having a sticker book. Just how easy it is to install. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Artisan Electrics where winter is coming. It's starting to get a bit colder and we're here at Lee's house. Why are we here? We're going to be installing a Tado Smart Thermostat. It's a new one for us. We've not done a video about this yet and really excited to get this kit installed. Lee, your house is going to be a little bit cozier after this.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you ever installed a Tado Smart Thermostat?
No, I've not. It'd be interesting to sort of see how it goes and see how easy it is.
I've fitted a few of these in the past, but I've never fitted the ones with the smart radiator valves. So we're really fitting a comprehensive system today, which has the main smart thermostat, but it's also got the smart radiator valves and it's got extra wireless temperature sensors so that we can kind of control dynamically the temperature in different rooms. So it's kind of the full shebang today. Lee's house is going to be all smart and set up ready for winter, and I'm going to just kind of talk him through the installation. We're going to learn a little bit as we go along and hopefully it'll be an interesting video for you guys. Thanks to Tado for sponsoring today's video. Let's get into it. We're going to get this unboxed and see what's inside. Looks like these nice little tabs. Oh, that's nice. Just easy to open up. So we've got our smart thermostat here. Now, having done these before, I know how this works. You kind of think, oh, there's no display on it, but it's actually a digital display which shines through. It's like LEDs which shine through the cover of this, which is quite cool. And then you've just got the one button on there. So very simple and easy to set up. And it just comes with a little set of fixings. So it looks like you've got sticky tabs, so you can just stick it on the wall if you want to, or you've got little raw plugs and screws, which is nice to have the two options. And then we've got our welcome guide, manual for professional installers, and the setup guide. So you've kind of got everything you need there with the QR code to download the app. So what we'll probably do is get you to download the app, Lee, and then you can start going through that process. And we'll see how easy it is to actually download the app, set up an account and all that stuff. Hopefully it's pretty straightforward. Then in here we've got this, which is the Wi-Fi internet bridge. So what that does, you plug it into the router with this RJ45 data cable, and then it will wirelessly send a Wi-Fi signal to this so that it can communicate with the internet, therefore enabling you to control your heating from your mobile phone, which is really cool. And then in here we've got the standard various plug options, European and British standard 13 amp plug with the little power adapter thingy, and then this is the USB power cable that plugs into it and powers the Wi-Fi bridge. So that's kind of it, pretty simple. So that's the main room thermostat. Then we've got these. So we've got the wireless temperature sensors, and the idea behind this is they're kind of add-ons. So you don't need them. This is the starter kit, this is the basic setup. But if you want to individually control separate rooms, you can do so using this. And because we're installing the smart radiator thermostats, it makes sense to be able to kind of be a bit more flexible in that maybe Lee doesn't want his, office to always be on the same temperature as the rest of the house. Maybe he wants it to be a bit cooler in there or something like that. So it just gives a bit more flexibility to the whole system. And because they're wireless, you literally just stick them on the wall and they detect the temperature in the room, and then you set the temperature on these to control the temperature on the radiators to balance the temperature in that particular room. So it's really cool. You could do this for an upstairs and downstairs setup, or you could do it for individual rooms. In this case, we've got 3 in total. We've got this one, and the main one. So we're going to see what Lee wants and figure out the best option for his particular setup. And then these things are absolutely genius because they enable you to control the temperature of your radiators from the smart thermostat. So in each box we've got 4, it's a Quattro pack, so we've got 8 in total, might have a couple of spares. And they are designed, because you kind of think, well, I'm not a plumber, I can't I don't really want to be faffing around with radiator valves, but actually they're designed to be installed by anyone. They're super easy and quick to install, and you've got these different adapters to fit with different radiator systems. And these are pretty chunky actually, nice, really nice quality, and they obviously have some kind of battery powered actuator in them that will enable you to literally turn up and down the radiators or turn on and off the radiators based on the temperature in the room that is detected by your smart thermostat. So very, very clever setup, which allows a lot more flexibility for a smart thermostat system. So we've got those two there, and then we've got another two there, and we've got two of these Quattro packs. Now, if you want to know where to get hold of all this stuff, I'll leave a link in the description, but they do have deals with Screwfix, Toolstation, and City Plumbing. So yeah, let's just get into it and we'll start installing it. We'll give you a little tour of the current house setup. So here we are at the main programmer. So at the moment they've got this Drayton one, and we're going to be just taking this off and having a look at the wiring. The actual boiler is behind me in this other cupboard. Then you've got this immersion heater, which is obviously just used as kind of a backup, although it is turned on at the moment, so not quite sure what the situation is with that. We'll have to have a look at that. And then the wiring centre is down here, so we might need to clear this cupboard out a little bit, but basically we've got the wiring centre here. We've got a motorised valve down here. That's just wired into that wiring centre. So I've got to kind of figure out what type of heating system this is first. If I get the programmer off, that should help hopefully. So it's a fairly straightforward, simple system whereby we've got the live and neutral coming into the programmer, and then we've got a permanent live. So we've got basically a hot water, central heating on, hot water on, and then that's hot water off, basically. So we've just got those three wires and then the live and neutral in. I'm hoping that we'll be able to just basically swap this over like for like. So we'll take this Tado thermostat off its back plate and we'll see what the options are. So we've got normally open, normally closed, common, and then parking P1, 2 and 3. I'm not sure what parking is all about. Might need to check that because I think we might need to do something separate for the hot water in this case. Now, because I'm a typical bloke, I don't usually like to read instructions, but actually what I found, having experienced making some mistakes in life and then checking the instructions and realising if I'd have only followed the instructions, it would have been much simpler. Now I just try to check the instructions before I install stuff. So they come with this manual for professional installers. The thing about it is you could probably figure it out on your own because most of these devices are fairly straightforward to install anyway, but sometimes they give you little tips that will save you time. Like, for example, this one, it's telling us that we should install the internet bridge first. Now that's probably because it will give it time to download firmware updates and things like that while we're working here, so that we don't have to waste time waiting for firmware updates at the end. So I'm just going to do that. So that is step one. Install the internet bridge, and all we're just going to do is plug it into the router and then press the little pairing button, and then we're going to pair it with this smart thermostat before we actually mount it on the wall. The router is downstairs, so I'll see you down there. So the internet bridge is this, and what we're going to do is unwrap these little cables, and in order to power it you've got two options. So it comes with this USB power cable, so obviously first things first we're going to plug that in at this end. Some routers have a USB socket in the back of them which you can then use to power this, in which case you don't need this little power block. So I'm going to have a look in the back of this router now and just see if we've got a spare USB port, which we actually do. So I'm going to plug this in to the back of the router, and that will power it up. There we go. And that means that we've got no trailing cables going down to the nearest socket. Then we plug our data cable in and just plug that into a spare port in the back of the router, and that will neatly tuck behind there, and it's like nobody ever knew that it was there. But we do need to do a little bit of pairing now. It says press and hold the pairing button until the LED starts blinking. 1, 2, 3, okay, that's blinking. So that's now in pairing mode. And then it says pair the thermostat. So we need to remove the battery protection strip from this thermostat. Oh, I love peeling these things off. pull out the battery protection strip, and then that will hopefully activate. Yes, look at that. Awesome. So it says press the button for 3 seconds to start pairing. So we'll do that. 1, 2, 3. Pairing mode. Okay. Oh, there we go. So that's it. It's paired. That's it. We've paired it up. Brilliant. And you see, that is why it's good that I did this first, because if I didn't follow the instructions, I probably would have installed this upstairs, and then maybe it would have been more difficult to pair it with this downstairs. It's better if you have them close together. So always follow the instructions, kids. Next is mount the smart thermostat. So we can do that, and that's back upstairs. So it's important to prove dead by just safely isolating the circuit and then using an approved voltage tester to be able to prove dead. So that's live at the moment. I'm going to isolate it here in the boiler spur. So there's a switch here. I'm just going to turn that off. Okay, so that should hopefully isolate. Yeah, and that is now dead. So we can work safely. To the wall using the included screws or the adhesive pads. I think it needs to go downstairs. Yeah. So now we're going downstairs to the thermostat, and we're going to put this where the old thermostat was. An electrician's life is never simple. They always put these things in really awkward places. Let's take the batteries out and have a look if there's something behind the batteries. And we do have wires. So it's just one that doesn't have a neutral. So the batteries are to give power to keep the thing going. And then it literally just switches, so it's got normally open and normally closed, which is great because that's exactly what we've got with this new one as well. So we've just got normally open, normally closed, and common. So we can, what we want is normally open is the call for heat, and common is the permanent live coming down. So we just got to figure out which one's which. And we should be able to do that by looking at the existing setup. So on the back here, terminal 1A, terminal 2B, terminal 3C. So A is permanent live, B is normally open, C is normally closed. So we want our permanent live to go in the common here, and then normally closed, normally open will be the switch live. So that's really, really easy. So what we're going to do is just take this off the wall, like so. Disconnect these wires. There we go. And then hopefully we can just pop the new one on. Pretty much in exactly the same place. We can even reuse the existing screw holes, look at that. And then all we've got to do is connect these in the right terminals. So as I said, the brown will be in common. That's our permanent live coming in. I'm going to cut these a little bit shorter because they're a little bit too long. Okay, so that's the smart thermostat wired. So we'll put this little cover back on. Just neatly clicks in. Do that screw up to make it nice and secure, and then we'll just seal this back over. Just click it in place. Now, if we turn the power back on, hopefully it should work. Let's give it a go. So there are two types of kits. One is for your kind of combi boilers where the hot water is just heated instantaneously when the boiler kicks in when you turn the tap on. The other type is for a system boiler whereby you have a hot water tank like we do here. And in that case you have a programmer which controls the timings of the hot water. So the Tado thermostat kit that you need if you've got a boiler with a hot water tank and timed hot water program is the specific one that says plus hot water, and it's got an extension box, and the extension box goes on here to replace the programmer. So that's a little important note, and we've not got that. So what we're going to do is get everything else set up here at the moment, and then we'll come back and put the extension box on tomorrow when it's delivered. Everything is set here to always on, so that just overrides this and essentially means that this is just like a sort of a junction box at the moment that's powering everything on. Interestingly, that's how Lee had it running before anyway, so he was literally just turning up the heating on the thermostat downstairs if he was a bit cold and turning it down if he was a bit too hot, and the hot water was literally always on. So this new smart thermostat system is really going to save him a lot of energy because it's going to be much more dynamic and allow him to have much more flexible control in each room. So we're going to check downstairs now and configure our room thermostat. So we press and hold the button for 3 seconds and then release it. Then we press and hold it again for 3 seconds, again for 3 seconds and release. And there we go. Installer menu is what we want. Please wait while the installer menu loads. Okay, so this is how we change our room temperature. So we literally can just turn it up and down using these buttons, which is really nice. But what we're going to do now is start doing our valves and our remote smart room temperature sensors. So what we need to do is actually do a test on the system, and in order to do that we've got to turn the temperature up to max so that it kicks the central heating in, and then we should hear the boiler kick in. So we put it on 25, so if we go upstairs we should hear the boiler kick in, and then we should start to feel the radiator start to warm up. So our boiler is whirring away, so that's a good sign. So now we're just going to stick our hand on some of the radiators to feel if the pipes going into the radiators are warming up, and then that means that our system's working as it should be. And then we'll turn the thermostat down again and then just check to see that the boiler cuts out and the radiators stop heating up. Yeah, that's getting hot now. Hot water is being fed into the system and that radiator is starting to warm up, so that's good. The others probably will follow, but that's the first one on the loop. So now I'm going to turn the thermostat back down and then we'll start fitting the valves. So I'm going to just scan the QR code on the box, which is really nice. Open up the web browser and that will give us the option to choose I'm a professional installer, go to download, click the Smart Radiator Thermostat manual, and then here is the manual which tells us exactly what we need to do. We probably need to actually set up our account first. So before we get too carried away with installing everything, we want to just get the app installed and set up. So I'm an iOS person, so I can do that, visit the App Store, and then I can get the Tado app. And Lee has already set up his account. How easy was it to set up an account?
It's super easy.
There we go, that's what we like. We've now got the Tado app downloaded. If you want to create an account, you can do so. It's super easy, or you can even have a little look and just explore the demo app. We're just going to sign in with Lee's account. So we've got logged into Lee's house now, and what we're going to do is start adding devices. But what I love about this is that they give you a sticker for each device with the QR code and what it is. So it says like smart thermostat. I'll just cover up the serial number, but you get the idea. And then they've got this little card where you can stick all the various things. So for example, smart thermostats and wireless temperature sensors. So we want to put our first smart thermostat in there, like that. And then we've got the internet bridge sticker, which we're going to put in here. It's like being a kid again, you know, having a sticker book.
You got any shinies?
Oh yeah, man. Shinies. So we've got those two, and now as we add our radiator thermostats, we can write each room on them so that we know if ever for some reason we needed to reconfigure the system, we know which room they're in. So I've got a pen here, a nice Artisan electrics pen, and I'm just going to use that to write the various rooms. And then we'll write living room with my terrible handwriting. And then apparently what we're supposed to do is follow the instructions. So, well, let's do add device, access the camera, and then it wants the QR code. So that's what we're going to do. Let's just have a quick look at the instructions as well. So it says that we need to remove the battery strip. So where is the battery strip? Probably under this cover. Yeah, there we go. So we can open that up. We can pull the battery strip out, like it asks us to in the instructions. Press the button 3 seconds to activate pairing. So there's a little pairing button in there. Press that in with a screwdriver for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. It's vibrating and everything. Oh, look at that. How cool is that? So we go back to the app now, and then we will scan. Oh, please register your internet bridge first. Oh, of course, that's what we need to do first. Thermostat is already registered now because it's paired with the internet bridge. So now we just need to go back and add this. So that's paired up now, but it knows that it's not mounted, obviously. So installation instructions, we can actually click on that, and it tells us, view the instructions for mounting the Tado system, view instructions. Right, so check your valve type. Tado only works with thermostatic radiator valves. Before proceeding, make sure that your radiator valve is thermostatic. I think that one is not. So the valve on that side of the living room wasn't actually a thermostatic valve, whereas this is. You've got this little thing that can just unscrew and literally pop the whole thing off the top. So it's got like a button that pushes in basically slowly, and that is what opens and shuts the valve, whereas the other one, it has to actually turn. Now obviously this, how it works is it's an actuator, and it pushes down to open and close the valve. This needs this type of valve to work. If you don't have these type of thermostatic radiator valves already in place, then you need to get those swapped over by a plumber. And that is pretty much standard, so I think we can literally pop the new one on straight onto the old thermostatic radiator valve. We'll give it a go. So we just push that in, and then yeah, literally just threads on to the existing thread.
You got to have that arrow
pointing
forward
towards
you, hold it, and then tighten the lower base. So when you screw that on,
you've got the screen at the front.
Screen's at the front.
That's on, and it made a nice little whirring sound, and it went through various settings, and you can literally just turn it up. So that's max 25 degrees. Turn it down as well manually to off. Okay, so we can call this, so we need to make a new room. So this is living room. So you can see this is upside down at the moment, but if we do orientation vertical, there we go, it's the right way up now. That's clever, isn't it? So we go back to the installation instructions because we got a little bit stuck there. Remove existing radiator valve head, we've done that. Literally unscrew it. Screw the Tado mounting bracket onto the valve. That's what we've done. Adjust the position of the LED display using the marker, we've done that. So we chose to have it point, the top, the little arrow top, you have it pointing forward. And then hold the mounting bracket with one hand, mount the smart radiator thermostat with the other, turn the head right to lock in place. That's what we've done. So your smart radiator thermostat is calibrating. This may take up to 1 minute. So what it does is it makes these funny little noises and it calibrates. And now it's correctly calibrated. That's it. And that was very easy. So we're going to give them 5 stars for ease of installation. That's it. So it's just now rinse and repeat. We're going to go around. We've got, I think, 5 more radiators to do. We're going to just jump around, do all of those, and then we just get back to the main system and configure it and make sure it all works properly and add those extra room temperature sensors. So we just installed this one and we've got an E4 error, and I looked in the instructions and that indicates that there's calcification on the valve and that we need to take this off and then use some kind of grips or something just to push the button in, and hopefully that will loosen it up a little bit. Oh yeah, that works now. So we can put this back on and hopefully that'll do the trick. Okay, yes, configuring now, so hopefully it'll be fine now. So now what we're going to do is install these room temperature sensors, wireless temperature sensors, and Lee has asked that we can fit one in his bedroom so that he can individually control the temperature of his bedroom, then the other one in the hallway upstairs so that we've got a general temperature measurement for the whole of the upstairs, and that'll give him a lot more flexibility in terms of the temperatures, because obviously upstairs often gets hotter than downstairs because heat rises, so it's quite a sensible thing to do, I think. So I'm going to unwrap this and then we'll stick these up. and they pair up in exactly the same way as all the other devices. So we'll do this as the bedroom one. So we do bedroom sensor, and then we'll actually scan that and add it. There we go, wireless temperature sensor. Register device, continue. Press the button for 3 seconds to start pairing. 1, 2, 3, done. Pairing mode. What we found for these devices is that it's quicker to pair them up if you hold them right next to the wireless internet bridge. So we're downstairs, with the wireless internet bridge is just behind. So now we've got our main temperature sensor, which is the living room, all these radiators. So we've got porch, living room, bathroom, bedroom 1, bedroom 2. Then we've got temperature sensor upstairs, temperature sensor in bedroom 1. Essentially, what you can do is kind of program everything so that it comes on and off in different settings. So if you do like smart schedule, and then you can customize your temperature settings for when you're at home and when you're away. Turn off all rooms. You can turn off the heating in bedroom 2, turn off the heating in bedroom 1, turn off the heating in the bathroom. And I'm guessing, yeah, with these we can just literally turn the temperature up. So we can literally just turn that up to like we want it on 24. Then that will just kick the central heating in, but it will only open the valve in the porch. So it will just heat the porch up. Very, very clever system. Overall, I mean, what we've been impressed by is just how easy it is to install. Super simple to fit the radiator valves. As long as you've got thermostatic valves, you just unscrew one, screw in the other. The actual smart thermostat itself was super easy to fit. And the room temperature sensors, literally pull out a battery tab, pair it up, stick it on the wall. So it's really, really easy, flexible system that can kind of work with whatever size house you have, which can enable you to save energy, have more comfort in the rooms that you do want heat, without wasting loads of energy in the rooms that you're not using. Thank you to Tado for sponsoring today's video. It's been awesome to discover the product. Lee and his little friend, what's he called? Lemmy, the bearded dragon, is not only cozy in his little tank, but now the whole room around him is cozy too. So we're back here at Lee's house. If you remember, we got the wrong system, stupidly. We got the system which was for a combi boiler. So it would do all the heating and stuff, but not the hot water. This is what we need for when we've got a hot water tank and a system boiler that heats the hot water and fills up the tank. So for 80% of properties in the UK, actually, this is the system that you need. The other system will probably only work in about 20% of properties which have combi boilers. We're going to be swapping the programmer in the airing cupboard for this extension box. But it's a nice opportunity as well just to talk about how Lee's getting on with the system and how the app is working and all that stuff, because obviously it's been heating his house for a few weeks now. So how have you got on with it, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, I've not actually turned the radiators on physically because it's not cold enough yet, but from what I've set on the temperatures on the actual radiator valves, I mean, I've been waking up in the morning, if it's been a bit cold, then it's kicked in, and yeah, it's quite nice. Plus, having it on my phone, I like the idea of when it is cold in the winter, if I'm driving home from work, I can just ramp it up before I get in and come home to a nice hot house. So,
yeah, that's the advantage of being able to turn on your heating wherever you are in the world, isn't it? Something we need to mention as well about the radiator valves is what we've figured out is that the smart radiator valves, or smart radiator thermostats they're called, they actually act as like a separate room thermostat. So we've put these wall temperature sensors on as well, but that's kind of like extra. It's not really needed. Each thermostat on each radiator acts as like its own room thermostat. So am I right in that that thermostat is just measuring the temperature of the room, and you can choose that individual radiator then where, like, to choose the temperature of the room?
Yeah. Each one, the wall thermostat and the radiator valves, they all have their own sensors. So if you go on their app, it says the temperature at that point. And also if you have a window or a door open, it will actually pick that up and it will say, do you want to turn that radiator off? Because it can sense cold air coming in.
That's amazing.
So it's saying you don't want to waste your radiator being on, so you can just click yes and turn it off.
Yeah, so it's like having an individual room thermostat in every room where you've got a radiator basically, which is really, really cool. So we're going to get this on, and then that'll be it, finalised and all ready to go, nice and cosy. Okay, so that is the wireless temperature sensor, and then in here, so it comes with the wireless bridge and all the other stuff like the other one, but this is the bit that we really need. This is the brain that we're going to swap the programmer with. And then I'm not sure what that is. I guess that's to go from the wiring centre to this if they're located in different places. And then you've got some little Wagos and little bridging wires and stuff as well. You got some tools?
Yeah, they're up there.
Brilliant, let's go. So essentially, the normally closed will be permanently live, and then when you're calling for heat, it will switch over to the normally open.
Yeah.
And then the same with the hot water, so you've got permanently live, and then it's just like a two-way switch basically between normally closed and normally open. Yeah, so the normally closed it will be permanently live unless you're calling for heat, and then it will go over to the normally open. So we've got the new programmer on in place working, so that Lee can now control his hot water from his Tado thermostat system as well. Just means that he can program the hot water to come on and off when he wants, to make sure that he's got a nice full tank of hot water every morning when he wakes up and needs to jump in the shower. So he's paired it to his app already, so that's good. So we're just going to power it on, and hopefully everything will work as expected. So because the previous system that we installed had a hardwired room thermostat, the new system, because the programmer is doing all the brain work, this is slightly different. So the room thermostat is just completely wireless. So we're going to swap this room thermostat that we put in earlier for this one, which is just a wireless temperature sensor. But because we've got wires here, we just need to bridge them out. So if you're just removing a normal traditional wired thermostat and you're using the proper hot water system with the extension box for the hot water, then this is what you need to do. So we're kind of showing you both setups in this video, which is quite good. You've obviously seen how you would do it if you had a combi boiler. Now you're going to get to see how you do it if you've got a system boiler. So Tado provide good quality connectors in their product, which we like to see. Good old Wago, Warco, Varco, whatever you call them, 221s. And we're just going to use one of these to bridge out the normally open and common wires. So it's very, very simple. Just pull those out and then pop them into this connector block. And then we'll pop this off the wall and put the wireless temperature sensor on, and we can literally just tuck these wires into the wall behind, and then they're there if anyone ever did want to change to a hardwired system again in the future. The wires are there ready to go for whoever needs them. So that is it. We are all cozy and warm here in Lee's house. He's got an amazing smart thermostat system that will control his heating and his hot water, enable him to program everything. Super flexible, individual room control with the smart radiator thermostats is just awesome. And the whole thing works seamlessly to make Lee's house cozier, but also more energy efficient, which is really important these days. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to hit a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because we do post regular videos all about cool stuff like smart thermostats, loads of other interesting tech products, electrical stuff, EV charging points, everything you can think of to do with the life of an electrician. So we'd love you to join us on our Artisan movement. Either way, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.